inverse functions question, and we can see that because we have this notation of -1. So we're told the original function h of x is equal to 2 over the square root of x minus 1 plus a half, and we're only interested when x is bigger than 1. And we need to find the inverse function of 1. Now, when you do an inverse function, we know that if we have the original function f of x equals y, then in an inverse function, the domain and the range swap over. So instead of x and y, you now have y and x. So they have swapped over to give the inverse function. And we're going to use that to help us answer this question. So instead of h minus 1 of 1, we can think of that as h of what equals 1. So we're just swapping round our domain and our range. So if we go to our calculator, we can plot the function, and the function is 2 divided by, and then we have the square root of x minus 1. And next to that, we have added onto it a second fraction of 1/2. So this is what the function looks like. This must be the value of 1, which is where we start at because it told us we're only interested in x bigger than 1. And we want to find what is the x value when y equals 1. So we can now plot the graph of 1, and we can find where this intersection happens. It looks like I need to extend my y-axis, my x-axis, and we can now look for the intersection. And we can see that it's when x is 17. So we now know that this is 17, which means that h of minus 1 of 1 is also equal to 17, because we know that this domain and range swap over when we have an inverse function. So the first answer there is 17. There is 1 mark for obviously the answer of 17, and there is a second mark for realizing or showing some sort of method for realizing that the domain and range swap over if you take the original function. And then for part B of this question, we need to find the domain of h minus 1 of x. So again, we can use that same process. So if it's the domain of h minus 1 of x, it's the range of h of x, because the domain and the range swap. So instead, I'm going to use the range of